This controller is the RedMagic Shadow Blade 3. It's been out for some time and it keeps going out of stock, but I don't see many reviews on it. Most of the reviews are AI generated speech to text from China, so basically Chinese videos converted to English, and it doesn't really provide me any information about the controller itself. Weirdly enough, I am now doubting my decision on buying this because it looks exactly like my GameSir. I think I might have just bought the same controller twice. I've showed this in a couple of videos. This is the GameSir X5S. I also had the G8 Plus, but I think the X5S is a way better controller because it's half as light, especially when using with a tablet. The tablet is already 180 grams, I believe, so adding another 300 grams is too heavy. So this makes sure it's much easier to use. We can use it in both landscape mode like this, you can see here, or portrait mode if you want to watch YouTube or Netflix on top and play the game below, or the other way around, or if you want to play Nintendo DS games. This is a really awesome configuration for Nintendo DS or NDS 3DS. So I bought the Shadow Blade because it was on sale during Black Friday. Let's see if this fits. Yeah, okay, so it's the exact same controller except for a few differences. The buttons are nice and clicky. The joystick moves quite a bit. You have good range of motion. This is the power button, as well as to switch between different modes like X input, DS4, Android, and so on. You have a D-pad. I do not like this D-pad because it's membrane keys and it feels mushy to click. The top buttons. You can hear this, right? It's mushy. And then there's an M button to set some macros. So you can press M and A, and if you click A, it'll act as though you're pressing A continuously, which is really nice for some games. And of course, this is a telescopic controller, so it extends, and as I showed you, it already fits even a big tablet. There are these rubber pads here which are removable. You get extra in the box, so you can use it, increase the thickness or decrease the thickness, and it ensures that your tablet or phone does not get ruined. The Shadow Blade is by RedMagic. It feels slightly, ever so slightly heavier, maybe like 5 grams more, but it feels a little more premium. If you look at the back, they look extremely similar, except there are these screw holes for the GameSir and it's just smooth behind. This texture also feels a little more premium, and same with the plastic. This feels a little metallic, but the GameSir is more plasticky. And you can also see the RedMagic is a bit see-through. It's like slightly transparent, while the GameSir is just one block of plastic. But otherwise, they look the exact same. The buttons on the RedMagic are have a different font. Clickiness is the same. So the RedMagic buttons are very clicky. They are like almost mechanical. They might actually be mechanical buttons. And you can actually kind of see through the RedMagic, the front panel as well. It's a bit see-through, like a dark tinted see-through. These are completely membrane buttons. And you can see the size of the joystick is also slightly bigger, but RedMagic does include a couple of different options in the case, so you can swap it out or switch it out. I'm not sure about, I don't think these do come off though. Yeah, they're not coming off, at least not easily. Maybe they do come off. Now my main gripe with the GameSir is the extremely mushy up, down, left, right buttons. Let's see on the RedMagic. Oh wow, these are amazing. These are mechanical. These are way better. Okay, so let's go to the price difference. So the GameSir I got for about £50, so that's £50 with discount on Amazon. The RedMagic, I think it costs like £120, but on Black Friday it's 99. RedMagic is double the price of the GameSir, and GameSir is half the price of the RedMagic. And I just noticed there are these macro keys here, L4 and R4. I'm guessing you can program them to whatever you want. Also very clicky. Man, this value of this is increasing. Even the R1, R2, R1, L1 are clicky. So yeah, I mean, people spend a lot on keyboards and clickiness, so I guess this is kind of worth it. It also looks a bit better. Now, the second accessory which I got with the RedMagic is this fan. So it says a RedMagic controller cooler. So I think it's supposed to snap onto the controller, so this would work on both since they are basically the same size. So this is the controller fan, and my guess is that this part goes behind the phone and tries to cool it while you're gaming. There is a power button, although it doesn't seem to do anything. I'm not sure if this has a battery. Yeah, I think it requires a battery. Sorry, it requires a plug to work. Let's try it out. Yes, so this does not have a battery and needs to be plugged in. So it could plug into your phone, or you can plug in separately to a plug, or you could use one of these power banks which basically have a USB-C and just like plug it in. So let me try that out. Yeah, this works really well. You can see it's already getting cold here. This is extremely cold to touch. It's like ice almost. Wow, that is cold. Yeah, this is very cold. So it does work. I'm not sure if it works well with the phone, but it does work. It does take off heat. So I'm guessing this is basically a radiator, and the fan is pushing out hot air to cool this panel. So you can place it like this on the controller, and now you have a controller which cools your phone. Let's see if it works well with the GameSir. Yep, it just fits exactly the same way. And yeah, that's the RedMagic Shadow Blade controller and the fan. Now, RedMagic controller works obviously better with the RedMagic phone. There are plugins within GameSpace itself which help you connect it better. So I've connected the controller, which looks like this, and you can see the fan here. I've placed the fan right in front of the CPU, which is over here. It's not centered, but you can make it centered if you want. But since the CPU or the Snapdragon APU is here, I kept it right behind to try to cool it more. So something really cool about the RedMagic phone is GameSpace, which you've seen before. GameSpace allows you to map the controller to games. So if you go to the game lobby and PUBG, do you see this icon here? If you click it, it says game controller. Once that's started, you can map touchscreen buttons to these keys, and these work very well. So you can see here like R2, R1, L1, Y, X, A, B, up, down, all of these are mapped. This works really well. It's the best implementation of on-screen to joystick controller conversion. I tried the Game Hub version. It sucked. Like, it was constantly jittering when I try to look around. When I click, if I click shoot and try to move around, it doesn't work either. It's just like either the touchscreen works or the controller works. Both don't work in tandem. So it was a bit annoying to set it up. So to enable this, what you have to do is in game space, you swipe from the side and there's an option called Gravity X. You click that. This pop-up on top shows up. You click this edit icon. You click a button, it'll tell you to click controller button. So here I'm going to click this menu button here. So now I can drag this menu button to anywhere I want. So let me click start, and then I minimize it. Sorry, I save it, and now it's saved. Now when I click this button, it shows up. So that's how it works. So let me start a game and show you how it looks like. So now we're in the game. You can see controllers are moving very well. I can look around. I can still move with the controller while looking around with the touchscreen. And I think I have R2 set as attack or shoot. So bound R1, R2 to shooting, and R1 to reload. I also have Y to enable scope, and then L2 to crawl, L1 to whatever this button is, prone, I don't know, sure. And have switch weapons. And so on. So basically the game works really well, and you can this joystick, the right joystick, is really good for aiming. I would not use it for moving because it's a bit slow. You can edit this, but I find that the larger you make the touchscreen to joystick conversion, the more it jitters. So it's usually useful for slightly moving just to aim, but main movement still relying on the touchscreen. So yeah, that's joystick gaming using game space with the GameSir. So on the RedMagic, it was out of charge, but there are these really cool lights here, and I think this flashing means that it's ready to pair. So yeah, the previous set buttons still work, but they feel a lot better when using it on the RedMagic. Like the buttons feel clickier, it feels a little more responsive, but that could just be because of the materials feeling premium. So unfortunately I couldn't find the setting which shows thermals. It may be showing them somewhere, but I couldn't find it, so I can't really understand if this is any better. But I can vouch for the fact that it does make the phone cooler. So if I plug this in, it will definitely cool the phone more. There's also a button here which you can use to enable fast mode. So there's the cyan light is low mode, blue light is medium, and then orange or red is fast. So yeah, definitely easy to use. Movements are a bit difficult to use, but I think those can be changed. So if you edit using the controller keys and then you click on this, you can make it larger and you might see bigger movements. But you can see it's jittering a bit, so this is the only part which is a bit annoying to use. Otherwise, even if you use the finger, it still is good to for shooting, for reloading, jumping, all of that stuff. So let's move on to some other type of games. So the new game we're gonna try is in Eden, and I've seen some people mention it in the comments, Rocket League. So after setting up Eden for your controller, you have to go to inputs, I believe. Sorry, controls, select player 1, and there's an auto map controller button, and you select RedMagic. Since A, B, X, Y are inverted, you might have to switch that. Yeah, and we should be ready. So there is some slight graphics glitches, and I think that's not really because of Rocket League, but because of Switch emulation itself. But the game itself does work. So yeah, that's how the RedMagic Shadow Blade 3 works with the RedMagic 11 Pro. It works the same way with other phones, but without game space, you can't really bind the screen controls to the controller itself. Game Hub does support, like this software is called Game Hub. So if you go here, you can select one of the controllers here, and you can see it's kind of detected the controller, and all the buttons are being detected. But I did find it doesn't work as well as it would with the game space. It still works, it just doesn't work as well. So I'm trying to download Mortal Kombat 11 here, but the size of the app is like 100 GB, so it's gonna take quite a while. Maybe I'll put a separate video out later, but for now, this is the RedMagic Shadow Blade. It is a 1-to-1 copy of the GameSir. The only difference is being the materials being slightly more premium. On the RedMagic, you have LED lights on the sides. You have this kind of transparent looking faceplate as well as the buttons. You have an extra buttons here on top which are remappable. So this is the app, it's called Goper. And within Goper, you can select the controller, and now you can add games to it. You can test your controllers, which is here, and I think you can also set the buttons. So here you have button settings. You can set the layout, which is Xbox layout or Switch layout. You can map these buttons, so I can map R4 to maybe R3 or some other button, but basically you can bind different buttons to R4 and R4 and L4, and you can change some more settings. There are like trigger settings, I guess, to change the dead zones. You have function settings, which is like sleep mode, automatic sleep mode. You have light settings. You can change the light brightness. So if I put all the way up, that's full. You can also change how the light colors look like. So I'm going to set it to blue. So you can see it changed here immediately. You can set it somewhere else. Since it's RedMagic, I think it makes sense to make it red. I just want to go over the fan for a second. So as you see now, it's on high performance mode. I got a thermometer to test how cool the CPU is. So why CPU being cold is important is because the cooler the CPU, the more it can perform. When it gets warmer, it starts throttling, which is reducing the output at which the CPU is running. So if it's cool, then it performs better, so you get better performance in your games or your day-to-day activities. So right now I turned on the liquid cooling and the air cooling at maximum. It's about 26 degrees. Now right now there's no game running, but 26 degrees is okay. Anything up to 40 or 35 to 40 is fine. Now if you check the fan, now it's on medium mode. So on medium is about 11 degrees and dropping. So I would say it would stay around 5 to 10 maybe. Yeah, about 5 to 10 degrees, which is extremely cold. So now when you combine this here, this cold plate absorbs the heat from the CPU, which makes the CPU think, hey, it's not that warm, I can still run at a much higher pace. Now, one of the issues with this fan is that it needs to be plugged in at all times. There are other fans which you can get which connect to the phone MagSafe, and they have a battery inside, which means it gets a lot bigger, it becomes thicker, and it's heavier as well, but at least you don't need to be plugged in at all times. But one of the benefits of this fan is that it has this gap which slides into the controller. So if you're playing on a controller, this fan makes the most sense. I would say just pay the extra premium for RedMagic and be done with it. But otherwise, you could get something like this. So this is a fan also from AliExpress. It doesn't have a battery either, so you do need to plug it in. But this one is only, I guess, 5 to 8 pounds, while the CPU cooler you have to buy with the controller and it costs around 20 to 30 pounds. So this on maximum, which is -3, it says. It's so low that it can't even get it. So I would say around 0 to 5 degrees. But when I touch it, it doesn't seem as cold to me. I feel this one feels colder than the AliExpress one. I know these ones are not extremely accurate, especially for anything non-human. Even for humans, it's not very accurate, but this gives you a general ballpark of how cold it gets. I think it does look nice, but the main difference is this one connects to MagSafe. So if you use your phone, it's going to cool the battery or the area in the battery, but with the RedMagic cooler, you can keep it on top of the CPU, so it actually cools the CPU directly. Cooling the CPU, you get better performance. Cooling the battery will make the battery last longer because it doesn't die as easily, but I'm not sure about how it would cool the CPU. Maybe like thermal conduction might overall reduce the temperature. Anyway, so that's the fan cooler. Next video I'm going to add all the other emulation games, some of the games that you mentioned in the comments: Dead Space, Rocket League on Windows, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and so on. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. See you guys in the next one.